The energy inside the Atlanta Convention Center was unlike anything the crowd had ever felt before. The air vibrated with tension, the kind that prickled the skin and made people lean forward in their seats, waiting for something explosive to happen. The Love and Hip Hop reunion was supposed to be a night of reflection, laughter, and maybe a few tears, but no one expected this. As the lights dimmed and the host tried to calm the buzzing audience, all eyes turned to the stage where three women, Karlie Redd, Rasheeda Frost, and Yandy Smith, stood frozen in a triangle of uneasy silence. Karlie clutched the mic with both hands, her voice trembling as she tried to speak over the roaring crowd. "I'm not doing this no more," she said, her voice cracking. "We family in this industry. Whether we like it or not, Tand, I'm tired of watching women I love tear each other down." The room gasped, some fans cheering, others booing, phones flashing like lightning across the sea of faces. Yandy's lips tightened, her expression unreadable, while Rasheeda shifted in her chair, arms crossed, eyes glinting with fire. For months, rumors had circulated that Yandy and Rasheeda had been locked in a silent feud, sparked by whispers of betrayal, jealousy, and a messy business deal gone wrong. But no one expected Karlie Redd, the queen of stirring chaos, to be the one trying to bring peace. This was the same Karlie who'd fueled half of Atlanta's biggest scandals. So when she stepped forward, tears in her eyes, begging for forgiveness between the two, even the camera crew stopped moving. It wasn't clear whether she was trying to heal the room or steal the spotlight once again. "Jendi Rasheeda, LL2, grown for this," Karlie said, her voice rising, as she paced across the stage. "We've been through too much. We've loved, we've lost, and now we out here acting like enemies on national TV. Nuh-uh. I'm not letting that happen tonight." The audience erupted, half chanting Karlie's name, half shouting for the drama to continue. The tension was electric. Yandy looked away, blinking hard, while Rasheeda's jaw tightened. Just then Mendices was spotted in the crowd, shaking his head, whispering something to Kirk Frost, who sat 2 rows behind him. The camera zoomed in. Mendices looked annoyed, Kirk looked conflicted, and fans online immediately started posting clips with captions like "Karlie playing peacemaker. Never thought I'd see the day." Hashtags like #YanDYVs RASHEEDA and #KARLIE drama began trending before the commercial break even hit. But what no one realized was that this was only the beginning. Behind Karlie's emotional plea, a much darker truth was hiding, one that would twist everything the audience thought they knew about these women. Whispers backstage hinted that Karlie's sudden call for peace wasn't just about friendship. There was a secret big enough to end reputations, shatter alliances, and expose the hidden cracks behind every sisterhood smile on that stage. And as the night went on, those cracks would burst wide open for the entire world to see. The tension backstage was palpable, like a storm ready to break. As cameras rolled and the audience cheered, unaware of the full scope of the drama that was about to unfold, Karlie Redd, always the master of theatrics, moved with calculated urgency, her eyes darting between Rasheeda and Yandy, as if measuring how much force she would need to pull them into reconciliation. The lights flickered over the stage, casting long shadows that made the scene feel almost cinematic. A live performance where reality and spectacle intertwined so seamlessly that fans could barely tell which was which. Whispers of the past month's betrayals, business disputes, and family tensions hung thick in the air, and the energy of anticipation was nearly suffocating. Yandy adjusted her dress nervously, fidgeting with her hands, while Rasheeda's gaze burned with a controlled intensity, her posture rigid, unyielding. The audience could sense the friction, and every camera angle captured the electric standoff, making viewers at home feel like they were in the center of a hurricane of emotions. Karlie stepped closer, voice rising just enough to cut through the murmurs of the crowd. "Look, I know things have been messy. We all know that, but tonight, we're bigger than our grudges," she said, her tone carrying equal parts authority and desperation. The crowd erupted into cheers, some standing, some waving their phones as if to capture a miracle. Yandy's lips pressed into a thin line, refusing to meet Rasheeda's eyes, while Rasheeda's jaw tightened, as though daring anyone to challenge her composure. Karlie's presence was magnetic, her energy pulling at the tension like a tug-of-war rope, and everyone could feel that the moment of confrontation was imminent. It started subtly, a flicker of acknowledgement between the two women, almost imperceptible, a nod here, a glance there, and the audience noticed, whispering to each other, eyes wide. Fans online began flooding social media, posting clips with captions like "Is this really happening? Peace on stage," and "Karlie Redd doing the impossible." Hashtags trended within minutes. Behind the scenes, Producers exchanged worried looks, knowing that whatever happened next could either create a historic reconciliation or a scandal that would dominate headlines for months. Karlie's hands trembled slightly as she gestured toward Yandy, her voice softening, almost pleading. Yandy, we've been through so much together. Remember the old times, the laughter, the support, the nights we stayed up talking about dreams. I know Rasheeda isn't perfect, and neither are you, but tonight, let's make something right. The crowd leaned in, some chanting Yandy's name, urging her to respond. Yandy swallowed hard, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, and for a moment, it seemed as though she might speak, might take Karlie's offer seriously. But just as hope began to rise, a sharp murmur traveled through the audience as Rasheeda broke the silence. I've forgiven a lot, she said, her voice calm but icy, but I don't forgive lies and betrayal lightly. You all know what happened. You all know what she said about me. It's not just a feud. It's about respect. And respect was broken. The crowd reacted instantly, gasps and murmurs blending into a roar. Cameras capturing every twitch of Yandy's face, every flicker of emotion in Karlie's eyes. Yandy's body stiffened, a defensive barrier rising around her. And Rasheeda's words seemed to echo, hitting like a drumbeat that demanded attention. Karlie's hand went to her heart, dramatic yet heartfelt. Rasheeda, I'm not saying it was easy. I'm not saying anyone's perfect. But tonight isn't about the past. It's about what we choose to do now. The family we want to be. The example we want to set. The world's watching. And if we can't rise above this, then what are we even doing? Her voice trembled with emotion, and the camera lingered on the subtle tear forming in her eye. A silent plea that was impossible to ignore. Then, unexpectedly, a loud voice interrupted, cutting through the tension. A fan from the crowd shouted, "Do it for us. Do it for love." The words hung in the air, almost tangible, and a ripple of energy spread through the room. The crowd's collective anticipation seemed to push Yandy and Rasheeda toward confrontation, and paradoxically, toward resolution. Every eye was fixed, every heartbeat synced with the drama unraveling live. The backstage crew shifted nervously, microphones squeaked, and the cameras captured every second, knowing that the footage would dominate social media, trending across multiple platforms by the next morning. Yandy finally spoke, her voice low but steady. I don't want this fight anymore, but you need to understand, Rasheeda, it wasn't just words. There's been history, and some of it hurt more than I can even explain. Rasheeda's gaze softened just slightly, though her stance remained firm. History is history, she replied. I can't forget, but I can choose how I respond. Tonight, it's about choice. The audience leaned forward, sensing that this was the pivot point. The delicate moment where either chaos or reconciliation would take the stage fully. Karlie moved between them, hands outstretched as if physically connecting the two energies. See, it's possible. It starts here. It starts now. The choice to forgive, to understand, to rise above the hurt. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high, but this is real. This is raw. This is live, and no one can script what's happening right now. The crowd erupted, some crying, some cheering. And the cameras captured it all, the trembling hands, the hesitant smiles. The tension slowly dissolving into something tentative but powerful. But just when it seemed like a breakthrough was at hand, the mood shifted. A figure from the sidelines whispered something to Rasheeda, her eyes flashing with disbelief and anger. She turned sharply to Yandy, voice rising with uncharacteristic heat. So you knew about this, all this time, and you let it happen. The accusation hung in the air, cutting through the tentative reconciliation like a knife. The audience gasped, fans leaning closer, some screaming into phones to capture every second. Yandy's face fell, shock and betrayal. Yandy's face intermingling as she shook her head, trying to defend herself. I didn't know, Rasheeda. You have to believe me, I swear. But Rasheeda wasn't letting it go. And the energy shifted from hope to raw, unpredictable tension. Karlie stepped in again, voice firm now, commanding, enough. Enough. This is why I brought you to here. To stop this cycle. Whatever secrets or mistakes exist, they end tonight. You can choose to fight in silence forever, or you can choose to rise above it, publicly, live, in front of these people who've loved you for years. Her words seemed to pierce the room, forcing everyone to breathe differently, to reconsider what this moment could mean. The audience's murmurs grew, some fans shouting encouragement, others desperate for drama. And the cameras captured the conflict's full spectrum: anger, fear, hope, shame, courage, all alive at once. Just as the tension reached a fever pitch, Rasheeda's voice dropped, quieter, almost vulnerable. I don't know if I can forgive fully yet, but maybe we can start. Yandy's eyes widened, hope flickering across her face. And the crowd erupted into applause. The sudden release of energy, like a dam breaking. Karlie's smile was radiant, triumphant in a subtle way, but even she knew this was only the beginning. Backstage, whispers of unfinished business, hidden betrayals, and family drama hinted that tonight's reconciliation might not last, and as cameras panned across the audience, capturing tears, cheers, and stunned expressions, the underlying tension of unfinished secrets loomed like a shadow. The night was far from over, and fans at home could barely keep up with the roller coaster of emotions unfolding live. This was more than reconciliation, it was a battle of hearts, of pride, and of long-buried truths coming to light. And while Karlie's intervention had sparked a fragile hope, the story was far from complete. Each glance and every whispered word backstage, promising twists yet to unfold, secrets ready to explode, and a drama that would leave the world talking long after the lights dimmed. The fragile moment on stage hung in the air like smoke, drifting slowly but with a weight that pressed on everyone present. Rasheeda and Yandy stood almost motionless, the heat of their unresolved emotions simmering beneath the surface, while Karlie Red's presence seemed to tether the chaos just enough to prevent it from erupting completely. The audience was on the edge of their seats, some holding their breath, some whispering feverishly to the person beside them, while others streamed the moment live. Comments flooding social media with exclamations like "This is unreal," and "Karlie actually made them talk." Backstage, producers clutched their heads, realizing that they were witnessing a performance that was equal parts reality and theater. A mix of real hurt and carefully calculated drama. As Rasheeda took a tentative step toward Yandy, the crowd hushed, sensing that a monumental decision was at hand. "I want to try," Rasheeda said, her voice low but steady, carrying both defiance and vulnerability. Yandy's eyes filled with tears, but she hesitated, glancing toward the side of the stage where Mendices had been quietly observing, his expression a mix of concern and quiet judgment. The silence between the two women stretched, electric and suffocating, each second amplifying the suspense. Finally, Yandy nodded, taking a small step forward, and the audience erupted into applause and cheers. Karlie's eyes shone with satisfaction, but her instinct told her to stay alert. She knew that beneath this surface-level reconciliation, emotions still ran dangerously high. Then, as if the night needed another twist, a phone rang from the crowd, its sharp tone cutting through the tension. The camera caught the moment, zooming in as a young woman jumped to answer, revealing a shocking revelation she claimed to have witnessed backstage earlier that evening. "You won't believe what I just saw," she shouted, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. "Rasheeda's boutique. There's been a secret meeting with someone Yandy trusts. I think they're planning something big." The words caused a ripple through the audience. Murmurs escalated into whispers, whispers into gasps, and gasps into shouts, fans clamoring to know more. The stage, once a place of tentative peace, became a battlefield of suspense, with every eye and camera lens now focusing on the next possible eruption. Yandy's face hardened, her instinct for defense kicking in. "Rasheeda, tell me this isn't true," she demanded, voice rising just enough to be heard across the stage. Rasheeda's expression flickered, a shadow of guilt or hesitation crossing her face, though she immediately masked it with composure. "Yandy," she began carefully, "you know I'm not about secrets, but you need to understand, not everything is as it seems. There's more happening than you know." The crowd leaned in, sensing that the underlying tension they had felt since the evening began was about to spill into full-blown confrontation. Karlie stepped closer, trying to mediate, but even she could feel the raw emotions threatening to tip over into chaos. Just as the audience braced for another eruption, the lights dimmed slightly, and a spotlight focused on a figure emerging from the shadows. Mendices, whose presence alone commanded attention. "Enough," he said, his voice steady but carrying undeniable authority. The room fell silent instantly, every person aware of his history, his influence, and the power dynamics at play. "We've been through too much watching this drama. Too much letting old grudges fester," he continued, his gaze sweeping over both women. "It's time to stop hiding behind anger and start facing the truth." The intensity of his words hung in the air, creating a pause that felt almost sacred. A temporary suspension of chaos as the women processed the weight of his statement. Rasheeda's eyes flickered to Mendices, a mix of defiance and respect. "You think it's that easy?" she challenged softly, her voice laced with vulnerability. "You think a few words can undo months of betrayal and lies?" Mendices shook his head, stepping closer. "No, it's not easy. Nothing worth doing ever is. But it's possible if you both choose to let go of what's been holding you back." Yandy took a deep breath, her shoulders trembling slightly, and finally spoke. I want that. I want it to end, at least tonight. Maybe we can't fix everything, but we can try. For the audience, for our families, for ourselves. The crowd roared in approval, the cheers almost drowning out the subtle tension that lingered just beneath the surface. As the women tentatively moved closer, the cameras captured every subtle gesture, the nervous glance, the quick intake of breath, the brief flash of a smile. Karlie watched intently, knowing the delicate balance could collapse at any moment. Backstage, assistants whispered urgently, hinting at past conflicts, secret messages, and phone screenshots that had circulated among friends in the days leading up to the event. It was clear that even as peace seemed possible, unresolved drama was lurking just around the corner, ready to ignite the next explosive chapter. And ignite it did. A sudden interruption came from the audience. A fan who had managed to get backstage earlier in the evening rushed onto the stage, waving a document in the air. You need to see this, the fan shouted, panic and excitement mingling in their voice. Karlie stepped forward quickly, trying to control the chaos, while Rasheeda and Yandy froze, eyes wide with shock. The document, held under the bright stage lights, revealed a series of messages that hinted at a secret alliance, backdoor deals, and whispers of betrayal involving people close to both women. The audience gasped collectively, the energy shifting from hopeful reconciliation to scandal-driven suspense in an instant. Yandy's face paled, and Rasheeda's jaw tightened again. Karlie raised her hands, trying to calm the escalating storm, but even she knew the moment had passed beyond her control. We're not done yet, she said firmly, her voice cutting through the chaos. This isn't just about tonight, it's about honesty, confrontation, and owning the consequences. Let's face this head-on live, with everyone watching. The crowd responded with a mix of cheers and shocked gasps, sensing that they were witnessing history, the raw, unfiltered collision of truth, emotion, and entertainment all in one place. And just as tension reached a crescendo, Rasheeda spoke, her voice cutting through the room like a whip. Fine, you want honesty, you'll get it, but this isn't just about us. There are others involved, and it's going to get messy. Yandy's lips parted, shock and concern mingling as she whispered, almost to herself, This is bigger than I thought. Karlie stepped between them, tension radiating off her in waves, but ice fell, shock and betrayal. Bigger than I thought. Karlie stepped between them, tension radiating off her in waves. But the energy was unstoppable now, the audience hanging on every word. Every camera, every lens, every microphone captured the unfolding storm. And fans at home could barely keep up, sending messages, memes, and theories at a speed that made the drama feel alive beyond the stage. What started as a plea for peace had evolved into a live investigation of loyalty, betrayal, and the hidden layers of relationships that fans only dreamed of seeing. Secrets whispered backstage, glances exchanged, and every subtle gesture now carried weight far beyond the immediate moment. The night promised twists, confrontations, and revelations that no one in attendance or watching online would ever forget, leaving the air charged with the thrilling, unpredictable energy of real-time reality TV drama. The room seemed to hold its breath as the implications of Rasheeda's words sank in. Yandy's eyes darted toward Karlie, a silent plea for guidance, for someone to anchor her in the whirlwind of emotion that had just erupted on stage. Karlie read, ever the orchestrator of chaos and resolution, took a deliberate step forward, her presence commanding yet oddly calming, as though she alone could channel the storm into something resembling control. The audience leaned in collectively, sensing that they were perched on the edge of a cliff, and any second now, the situation could tumble into either reconciliation or complete disaster. Listen, Karlie began, voice strong and unwavering. We've all made mistakes. We've all said things in anger, done things we regret, and kept secrets we shouldn't have. But this stage, right here, right now, is our chance to stop the cycle. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone who's been watching, believing, and hoping for something better. The words carried through the hall, bouncing off the walls, touching both women with a weight they couldn't ignore. Rasheeda's shoulders relaxed slightly, the first subtle crack in her armored demeanor, while Yandy's hands unclenched, trembling as she absorbed the gravity of the moment. Then, as if the universe demanded a dramatic twist, a figure emerged from the shadows. Kirkfrost, his expression unreadable, eyes narrowing as he observed the fragile piece forming on stage. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Kirk had always been a wild card, a man whose involvement could escalate situations in seconds. And now he stood silently, waiting, his presence a silent question mark hanging over the proceedings. Yandy caught sight of him, a flicker of unease crossing her face, while Rasheeda stiffened, recalling past conflicts and whispered rumors that had tangled their lives together for years. "I see what's happening here," Kirk said, voice cutting through the room, calm yet intimidating. "You all want peace. Fine. But peace built on half-truths is just another fight waiting to happen. If we're going to do this, we do it honestly. No hiding, no whispering, no pretending." The audience gasped at the audacity, fans leaning forward, phones lifted, capturing every syllable. Karlie's eyes narrowed slightly, sensing the delicate dance between control and chaos she had been attempting to choreograph. The stage, once a platform for a hopeful resolution, now transformed into a tense arena of truths and revelations, each word carrying the potential to ignite a full-blown scandal. Yandy's voice shook, barely audible over the hum of the crowd. I don't know if we're ready for that. The truth, it's messy, and it could destroy everything we've been trying to build." Rasheeda's response was sharp, cutting through the hesitation like a blade. "Messy, yes. Destructive, maybe, but honesty isn't optional anymore. We've been dancing around the edges for too long, letting pride and fear dictate our actions." Karlie stepped closer, hands raised in a gesture of balance, attempting to mediate the building storm. "Then let's do it together," she said, voice firm but encouraging. "Right here, right now, live. We face the mess, we face the drama, and we do it without hiding." Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high, but this is the moment that defines us. The crowd responded immediately, a wave of cheers, gasps, and murmurs crashing over the stage. It was a living entity, breathing along with the performers, pushing them toward confrontation, and paradoxically, toward understanding. Yandy took a tentative step forward, glancing at Rasheeda, who mirrored her movement. The two women closing the physical and emotional gap, inch by inch. Karlie's eyes shone with the satisfaction of someone orchestrating the perfect storm, her strategy unfolding as intended. Suddenly, a loud commotion erupted from the back of the stage. Assistant rushed forward, holding a tablet aloft. "You need to see this," the assistant shouted, urgency lacing every word. The screen illuminated a series of messages, video clips, and photos that hinted at betrayals, secret conversations, and plans that neither Yandy nor Rasheeda had anticipated. The audience erupted into chaos, phones lifted to capture the unfolding revelations, fans at home screaming into live streams, hashtags trending in real time, hashtag YanDyVs RASHEEDA, hashtag KARLIE drama, hashtag uncovered secrets. Yandy froze, eyes widening as she read snippets of the messages, shock and disbelief mingling with a rising tide of fear. Rasheeda's jaw tightened, a mixture of anger and incredulity flashing across her features. Karlie, sensing that the situation was tipping beyond even her control, raised her hands to regain focus. "We face it together. This isn't about pointing fingers, it's about confronting the truth. Live with everyone watching. Number running. No hiding." Her words barely registered over the roar of the audience, yet the command in her voice created a subtle pull, a tether to anchor the chaos. The messages revealed more than just betrayal. They hinted at hidden alliances, whispered promises, and manipulations that had unfolded behind the scenes for months. Yandy's face paled, and she muttered, almost to herself, This is bigger than I thought." Rasheeda's eyes flashed with anger, voice rising as she addressed the room. "See, this isn't just about us. There are others involved, and they've been pulling strings while we were distracted with petty arguments. Tonight, it's all coming to light." The audience reacted instantly, the roar swelling into a tidal wave of excitement, shock, and anticipation. Karlie moved between the two women, her body language commanding yet protective. "We can't let this destroy us. It's the truth, yes, but we can own it, confront it, and still walk away stronger. Tonight isn't about punishment, it's about empowerment. It's about reclaiming control over our story." Yandy and Rasheeda exchanged a glance, the tension still present but tempered by the shared understanding that Karlie's words offered a path forward. The audience held its collective breath, sensing that the night's drama was evolving into something far more complex than a simple reconciliation. And then, just as the crowd settled into a mix of suspense and awe, a sudden whisper traveled backstage. Someone had leaked a live video feed from behind the scenes, showing private conversations, hidden alliances, and subtle betrayals that had been carefully orchestrated over the past few months. Fans gasped as the footage played on screens throughout the venue, revealing layers of manipulation, loyalty tests, and emotional games that no one had anticipated. Karlie's hands went to her face, a mix of shock and calculated awareness, knowing that the narrative had shifted, that the drama was no longer just between Yandy and Rasheeda. It was a network of secrets, alliances, and revelations spanning multiple relationships, ready to explode before the world. As the night progressed, every second brought new shocks. Whispers backstage turned into confrontations on stage, phone messages became verbal accusations, and the audience became an active participant, reacting to each twist, each revelation, with gasps, cheers, and audible shouts. Yandy and Rasheeda, though exhausted by the emotional roller coaster, remained engaged, each step, each glance, each word carrying the weight of months, even years, of intertwined histories and hidden truths. Karlie, the unspoken maestro, continued to guide the drama, balancing chaos and resolution with a precision that only she could command, aware that tonight would be remembered as a defining moment in the saga of reality television history. The energy on stage had shifted from tentative peace to full-blown truths. Yandy and Rasheeda, though standing mere feet apart, seemed separated by miles of history, pride, and unspoken grievances. Karlie read, moving like a conductor orchestrating a symphony of chaos, gestured subtly, guiding their interaction without uttering another word. The audience was captivated, caught between relief at the reconciliation attempt and mounting tension as layers of secrets threatened to tear the fragile moment apart. Then, as if on cue, a sudden interruption drew gasps from the crowd. A familiar figure appeared from backstage. Someone whose involvement had long been rumored but never confirmed in public. Erica, Kirk. The murmurs cascaded through the audience like wildfire. Cameras zoomed in as Erica's expression, a mixture of defiance and calculated calm, met both women's gaze. "So this is the famous reconciliation," she said, voice cutting through the hum of the room. "Or is it just another performance for the cameras?" The audience erupted, fans shouting, some in support, others in disbelief. While social media exploded with live updates and reactions, Yandy's face tightened, a flicker of anger crossing her features. "Erica, this isn't your stage. Stay out of it," she snapped, but Erica's presence had already tilted the balance. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, jaw stiffening as she stepped slightly forward, a subtle warning in her stance. Karlie, sensing the rising storm, raised her hands, trying to prevent the confrontation from spiraling. "Enough," she said firmly. "This is about what's happening right here, right now. Let's not let anyone derail this moment." But Erica, ever the provocateur, smiled faintly, tilting her head. "Oh, I wouldn't dream of derailing anything," she said, voice smooth but laced with threat. "I'm just here to remind everyone that the truth has a way of showing itself, whether we like it or not." The audience leaned forward, some audibly gasping, the tension ratcheting higher with every word. Backstage, crew members exchanged worried glances, realizing that the night's carefully choreographed drama was veering into genuinely unpredictable territory. Yandy, though visibly shaken, squared her shoulders. "Fine," she said, voice steady, though the tremor betrayed her calm. "If you've got something to say, say it. But don't come here to manipulate the narrative. We're here to fix what we can, not to play your games." Rasheeda, sensing an opportunity to reclaim control, added, "We've all been played before. Tonight, we decide what matters, not past schemers." The crowd responded instantly, a wave of cheers and shouts, while cameras captured every subtle movement, the narrowing of eyes, the crossing of arms, the shifting weight from one foot to another, all signs of the emotional battle unfolding live. Then came the twist no one expected. Erica revealed a folder of documents, screenshots, and recordings, each one promising revelations that could shatter reputations and alliances. "This," she said, holding up the folder, "is what really happened behind the scenes. The deals, the whispers, the betrayals, they're all here." It's time the audience saw the truth, not just what's convenient. The crowd erupted in a mixture of cheers, gasps, and frantic phone recording, the energy shifting from suspenseful anticipation to full-blown spectacle. Yandy's face paled, the weight of potential exposure sinking in. Rasheeda's eyes burned with intensity, a mix of fury and incredulity. Karlie stepped closer, placing a hand lightly on each woman's shoulder, grounding them. "Look, we can face this together. Live, honest, transparent. Whatever comes out tonight, it's our story. No one else controls it." The audience, sensing the gravity, erupted in support, chanting, shouting, some in tears, all caught up in the unfolding reality drama fusion. The revelations continued, each document and recording peeling back layers of secrecy that had long been buried. Hidden alliances were exposed, long-standing grievances resurfaced, and the emotional stakes soared. Yandy and Rasheeda, despite their initial hesitation, began to navigate the revelations with a careful balance of honesty and defense. Each word, each glance, shaping the narrative in real time. Karlie, ever the orchestrator, maintained the rhythm, ensuring the drama flowed. Tension mounted, and the audience remained on the edge of their seats. As the night wore on, the crowd remained rapt, a living entity responding to every twist and turn. Whispers of alliances, betrayals, and secret messages passed backstage, feeding into the live drama. Fans online posted nonstop, videos trending, hashtags multiplying. Hashtag KarlieMediates. Rasheeda Yandy. Hashtag live. The energy was electric, the stakes monumental, and everyone in attendance, as well as viewers at home, could feel that what they were witnessing was historic. A rare glimpse into unfiltered emotions and raw reality amplified by the performative art of reality television. Then, in an unexpected turn, Yandy spoke softly but with clear conviction. I don't want to fight anymore. Tonight, if nothing else, I want us to be real. If people see our flaws, our mistakes, our truths, so be it. At least it's ours. Rasheeda nodded slightly, a tentative smile flickering across her face, signaling that the first threads of genuine connection and understanding were weaving through the chaos. Karlie smiled, subtly triumphant, knowing that despite the explosive revelations, a path toward resolution had emerged, fragile but undeniably present. But even as hope began to flicker, the backstage whispers hinted at more secrets, more revelations, and more drama waiting just beyond the camera's view. The night, far from over, promised continued tension, emotional twists, and moments that would shock, inspire, and captivate the audience long after the lights dimmed. And as the cameras panned across the crowd, capturing the mixture of awe, shock, and elation, it was clear, this was more than a reconciliation attempt. This was a masterclass in drama, manipulation, revelation, and human emotion, unfolding live, unfiltered, and unforgettable. The fragile calm that had begun to settle over the stage shattered in an instant as a sudden interruption drew gasps from the audience. A stagehand, breathless and wide-eyed, appeared with an envelope clutched tightly in her hands, her urgency cutting through the murmurs of excitement and tension. This just came from backstage, she announced, voice trembling with urgency. The crowd leaned forward, captivated, cameras pivoting to catch every reaction. Karlie read, sensing the perfect storm of suspense, stepped closer to intercept, but the envelope was already in Rasheeda's hands. She opened it slowly, her eyes scanning the contents as the audience collectively held its breath. Inside were photographs, messages, and receipts that suggested alliances and betrayals even deeper than anyone had imagined. Faces in the audience went pale, whispers turned into audible gasps, and fans at home flooded social media with clips and live reactions. The tension on stage was now palpable, thick enough to cut through. As Yandy's eyes widened in disbelief and Rasheeda's jaw tightened, a mixture of anger and disbelief crossing her face, Karlie moved between them, her voice a steadying force in the storm. We face this together, she said firmly. Honesty, live right now. This isn't about blame, it's about truth. Yandy's hands shook as she pointed at one of the photographs, voice trembling. I can't believe this. All this time, and none of it made sense. Were we just pawns? Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, scanning the contents herself, and she took a deep breath, her voice firm. No, we're not pawns, but we've been manipulated, yes, by people we trusted. Tonight, we confront it, not in secret, not behind closed doors, but here, where everyone can see. The audience erupted in applause, their cheers mixed with gasps of disbelief, cameras capturing every nuanced reaction as the drama escalated to heights no one had anticipated. Karlie raised her hands, commanding attention. This is why tonight matters. This is why Lev matters. No scripts, no edits. Everything exposed, everything raw, everything real. Her voice resonated through the hall, a tether anchoring the chaos. The women's emotional states were exposed for the world to witness. The trembling hands, the narrowed eyes, the subtle shifts in posture, all telling stories of past betrayals, current fears, and the tentative hope for resolution. But the night was far from over. As Rasheeda and Yandy processed the revelations, an unexpected voice from the crowd cut through the tension. What about the messages we never saw? The ones that went to friends, to family? A fan shouted, holding up a phone with a live feed of messages that had been circulating behind the scenes. The audience gasped again, some shouting encouragement, others demanding explanations. Backstage, whispers of further secrets and alliances hinted that the unfolding drama was even more layered than anyone had guessed. Yandy turned to Rasheeda, her expression a mixture of fear and resolve. "We have to address this. We can't just pretend it didn't happen." Rasheeda nodded slowly, her posture relaxing slightly, a flicker of trust breaking through her guarded demeanor. "You're right. Honesty, transparency. Tonight, we do it all. No hiding, no pretending." The crowd erupted in a collective cheer, some standing, some filming. All caught in the whirlwind of live emotion and revelation. Karlie's voice rose above the roar. "This is it. The moment where everything changes. The moment where secrets can either destroy us or set us free. We choose to face it, together." The audience responded with a thunderous wave of approval. Some fans wiping tears from their eyes, others screaming into phones to capture the live drama. The stage, once a site of tentative peace, had transformed into a battlefield of truths, secrets, and raw human emotion. As the revelations continued, each new piece of information peeled back layers of complexity. Hidden deals, whispered conversations, and subtle betrayals were exposed, creating ripples that touched every relationship on stage. Yandy and Rasheeda navigated the unfolding chaos with care, balancing defense with honesty, while Karlie orchestrated the flow of tension, ensuring the drama remained compelling without tipping into uncontrolled chaos. And then, an unexpected turn. A whispered conversation between two backstage crew members, caught on a secondary feed, revealed even more hidden layers of manipulation. Fans gasped as the footage aired, showing alliances and secret plans that neither Yandy nor Rasheeda had anticipated. The crowd's energy surged, the anticipation reaching a fever pitch, every second building toward the next emotional crescendo. Yandy finally spoke, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "Tonight isn't about perfection, it's about truth, about confronting the past, exposing what's hidden, and choosing how we move forward." Rasheeda's gaze softened slightly, a tentative smile forming, signaling the first glimmer of understanding and tentative trust. Karlie's eyes sparkled with quiet triumph, knowing that the drama, while explosive, was now steering toward a resolution. But backstage, whispers continued to swirl. Hints of further secrets, betrayals, and unexpected revelations promising that even as the audience cheered, the story was far from complete. The night had become a living, breathing spectacle of emotion, truth, and unfiltered reality, capturing hearts, imaginations, and social media feeds alike. And as the cameras panned across the audience, the tension, and anticipation made it clear that this was a night no one present or watching from home would ever forget. A night where drama, revelation, and human emotion collided spectacularly, setting the stage for moments yet to come. As the night draws to a close, the intensity of what just unfolded lingers in the air, leaving every fan, every viewer, and everyone on stage completely stunned. You've seen it all: emotions laid bare, secrets exposed, alliances tested, and moments that could change everything for Rasheeda, Yandy, and everyone involved. But here's the thing, the story doesn't end tonight. The drama, the revelations, and the personal stakes continue to ripple far beyond this stage. Maybe you're at home, watching, thinking you know how it all ends, but the truth is, nothing is ever simple in this world. Every glance, every whispered conversation, every seemingly small action can shift the entire narrative. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the families were left divided. And now it's your turn to weigh in, to join the conversation, and to decide where your loyalties lie. You've witnessed moments of raw vulnerability, moments of courage, and moments where it almost seemed like the weight of the past might crush everyone involved. Yet, despite the chaos, there's a thread of hope running through it, all a chance for reconciliation, for honesty, and for a future that doesn't repeat the mistakes of the past. Think about it. How would you act if you were in their shoes? How do you confront betrayal, navigate hidden truths, and still try to hold on to the people you care about? Reality TV may package this as entertainment, but the emotions, the struggles, and the consequences are real, and they demand attention. Fans like you don't just watch, they analyze, interpret, and engage, bringing life to the narrative in ways that make every moment more intense, more meaningful, and more unforgettable. This is why your voice matters. Your opinions, your theories, and your reactions are what keep these stories alive. Do you think Rasheeda and Yandy can truly make peace? Or are there deeper wounds that will never fully heal? Who do you trust in this tangled web of secrets and alliances? How much of tonight was genuine reconciliation, and how much was carefully orchestrated drama for the cameras? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because the conversation doesn't stop here. Every comment, every perspective, every reaction adds to the ongoing saga, creating a community of fans who are not just observers but participants in the unfolding story. And while you're engaging, don't forget to show support for the channel. Hit that like button if the drama kept you on the edge of your seat, if you gasped at the revelations, if you laughed at the subtle exchanges, or if you cried along with the emotions that ran so high tonight. Subscribing ensures that you never miss another explosive moment, another shocking revelation, or another twist that could turn the story upside down in ways you never saw coming. The bell icon is your personal invitation to be notified the instant new drama drops, keeping you at the center of every scandal, every conflict, and every reconciliation attempt. Fans who subscribe don't just watch, they're part of a community, sharing theories, reactions, and excitement in real time with viewers just like you. Now, take a moment to think about what you just witnessed. The tension, the confrontations, the revelations, they were all more than just entertainment. They were a reminder of the complexity of human relationships, of pride and vulnerability, of honesty and deception. Tonight, you saw characters who are flawed, emotional, and deeply human, navigating circumstances that challenge their patience, their trust, and their very understanding of who they are. And while we, as viewers, might critique or speculate, it's impossible to deny the courage it takes to confront these issues publicly, live, and under the intense scrutiny of thousands, if not millions, of eyes. So now, it's your moment to respond. Leave a comment with your thoughts on what was revealed tonight. Who do you believe acted in good faith? Who do you think might be holding back even more? What do you predict will happen next, both on stage and behind the scenes? Fans are shocked by the drama, yes, but it's your analysis, your insight, and your engagement that keeps the story alive and dynamic. This isn't just a show, it's a living, evolving narrative, and your voice plays a crucial role in shaping how the next chapters unfold. And remember, this drama is about more than confrontation, it's about growth, understanding, and the power of facing the truth. What you saw tonight might have been shocking, but it also offered a glimpse into the complexity of human emotion, the consequences of secrecy, and the possibilities for reconciliation even in the most explosive circumstances. As you comment, like, and subscribe, keep in mind that every action contributes to the larger story, creating a ripple effect that reaches far beyond this single night of drama. So go ahead, hit that like button if the events tonight shocked you, if emotions ran high, or if the twists caught you completely off guard. Subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of live drama, revelations, and behind-the-scenes surprises. Leave your comments and share your theories. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided, but your voice can help make sense of it all. Join the community, be part of the conversation, and keep the story alive. Every like, every comment, every share is part of the drama itself, extending its reach and impact. Tonight was unforgettable, but the story is far from over. The stage may empty, the lights may dim, but the drama, the secrets, and the questions remain. What happens next, who reveals more, and how the relationships evolve depends not just on the characters on stage but also on the fans who engage, speculate, and react. Your participation keeps the tension alive. Your reactions add energy to every revelation, and your theories help guide the narrative in ways even the producers can't predict. So get involved, like, subscribe, comment, share, and continue to be part of the unfolding saga. The drama isn't just on stage, it's everywhere, and it's waiting for your voice to join it.